And we're already in another city. Welcome to Jajce. So it's just crazy that like literally every hour there's something historical. And it's not just like 50, 60 years like old. I'm talking about like thousands of years old. The last king, Tomašević, was crowned here, and in particular, it was this church. It's actually pretty run down, but most of the outside structure is still intact. Obviously, there was a roof, and the roof is missing. Inside, you'll just see kind of like a empty hole. I don't know if any of this was rebuilt. I feel like it was, but I'm not sure about that. I mean, this thing is like in the 14th century, like it's super old. I think it was like 1460 or something when the last king was crowned here. I'm breathing hard because we had to take a flight of stairs to get up here because it is on top of a hill slash mountain. But the old town, there aren't like that many like habitants. There's like some houses where people like actually live full time, but most of the Jajce is kind of like built around this fort. So out in the mountains, our Airbnb is kind of like in a more residential area, which is cool because there's a gym literally right across from my Airbnb. As I travel, it's hard to find good gyms, and this one actually has a gym. But again, I have to have a separate pair of shoes. This time they said I don't have to wear the slip. I can just work out in my socks. So that's what I'll end up doing. But you guys see how hard it is just to get a workout in here in Bosnia. Like first, the gyms are limited, and the ones that you could go to, most of them are kind of run down and ratchet. And if you do go in there, there's all these rules where they just make a headache to actually get a decent workout in. In this vlog, I don't want to just blab and talk too much. I actually just want to record so you guys can kind of go through the adventure with me, kind of see the streets and cities of Bosnia. A lot of times you'll just kind of see me recording city and not in particular me. I also like recording people relaxing because I like to mingle with the locals whenever I'm traveling. I feel like that's the only time you get to truly feel what it's like living here and maybe even what the future is like in the city. Ciao, kak ste? Ja. U tebe bolji kvalitet onda. Hajde. Hajde. Because in particular, when you see like who's walking the streets and who's in that city, you can kind of see if there's like a future or not. Like if it's primarily just old people in the city, and they're kind of just like chilling around, there aren't that many young people. And if there isn't like really that many young people, there really isn't a future, because the young people that have the innovations, they're the ones that are still looking to work and, you know, come up with ideas and do something new and refreshing for the city and the country. All the older people, like, they did their part. Like, a lot of these people were working throughout Yugoslavia. They invested a lot of time and effort to create these cities, but they're not looking to continue working and innovating. So, cities like Zenica, I see a future. Cities like Travnik and Jajce, I think, are just gonna stay like a touristy place. That's the fortress up there. But whenever they started dividing the country, there's like the Federation of Bosnia, which still to this day is owned by Bosnia and Croats, while RS, which is the Republic of Serbia, is owned primarily just by Serbia. So technically, Bosnia doesn't have their own land. The land that we call our federation is someone also governed by a Croatian party. We're about to approach the famous waterfall here in Jajce. There we go. It's actually like pretty cool because I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think this is the biggest waterfall that's in the center of the city. And I've heard that somewhere. I don't know if it's just in Europe or what, but again, don't hold me to it. It is pretty. You can actually go down there and take some pictures, but the mist does kind of soak you up, so I'm not sure if we're going to go down there, especially since this camera isn't waterproof, and I still want to record for you guys, so I don't want to ruin a camera. Again, I don't want this video to be like historical, but there's just a lot of history in the two cities that I visited in this vlog. I kind of wanted to share it with you guys because, again, not a lot is known. Even like Bosnians don't know all the history about Bosnia. We're in the Antifascist Museum in Travnik, actually, sorry, Jajce, and I just want to show you guys this place because if you guys don't know who Tito is, he was running Yugoslavia, and they would have meetings here in regards to the Nazis and so forth, and how to work together to fight them off. Our army at that time were called partisans, and if you guys have ever seen like a flag with a red star, pretty much that flag right there, that was the Yugoslavian flag, and that red star was on the military hats that the partisans wore. You can see the hat right there. So that's Josip Broz Tito, which was the man for us. Some people hated him, some people loved him. There are a lot of dictators in this world, but I think he was one of the positive ones. Now, in any dictatorship, in any communism state, there's good and bad. The people that were well off and had jobs and had free apartments, I mean, everything was free. Like, medicine was free, apartments were free, everything was like supposedly like kind of like socialist, and the government and the country took care of you. You did your part, you respected the country, you respected the leader, but they also respected their citizens. And if you were following the rules, it was good. If you weren't following the rules, it was bad. The only thing is, like, if you had your own motives, like business motives, like there wasn't entrepreneurship back then. Like, you couldn't just have your own business. Everything was owned by the state. Pretty much every business, every gas station, anything that was producing something or making money was owned by the state. And then the state would figure out how to disperse the money. And this is where some people like it, some people don't. Because obviously you can't take care of everyone and fulfill everyone's goals and dreams. And they would choose where they invest money. Like, they would invest money into infrastructure and schools and hospitals, but some countries would, well, technically it was all one country back then, but some areas would get more of that funding, while other ones wouldn't get that much funding. And the capital for Yugoslavia was Belgrade, but a lot of money was also poured into Bosnia, and he also had a lot of vacation homes in Croatia. So these kind of random areas definitely loved him, but you also have to ask yourself, like, what did the area and territory look like before? And the reason truly Serbia wanted to take over the land after Tito died was because they believed that everything was technically Serbian land. Like, the Serbian kingdom was technically everything that Yugoslavia was. And when Tito took over, they kind of lost the Serbian land and Serbian kingdom and kind of wanted to bring it back. That's what they usually call Velika Serbia, which is like Big Serbia. And while Tito was in charge, he didn't really allow any religions. Everything was supposed to be equal. He had a slogan which was Bratstvo jedinstvo, which means like we're all brothers and sisters and we're all equal. Well, for them, Serbians thought that they deserve more of the land. They deserve their name to be glorified and so forth. And that's kind of just like the history. I just want to share it with you guys because I'm in Jajce, and this is where a lot of the history was made. A lot of the meetings against the Nazis and so forth, like I said, it was held here. Tito actually sat in the chair. I feel like it was up there. I doubt he was actually facing anyone up there, but he was the main man. You guys can see some other famous figures. This is a good description of like Bosnia, like all the history, so you can kind of see the Bosnian kingdom. was kind of started, but obviously there's a lot more history behind that with Tvrtko. That was our king. But pretty much 100 years after that, the Ottomans came in, and then Austro-Hungary took over. And then after like World War II, Tito took over, and it was under Yugoslavia. And then after the 92 war, Bosnia became somewhat independent, if you can call it independent. But the thing is, like, during the Nazi war, Croatians ended up fighting with the Nazis against the partisans. And then the Serbs also had their own army against the partisans. And I feel like that's kind of like a reason some people don't like him, because when he like won, like defeated the Nazis and the Chetniks, like, which are the Serbs, he ended up killing anyone that was on the opposing team. Like if you fought with the Nazis, you were killed. If you were Chetnik, you were killed. There weren't really any questions asked, and maybe that just caused like hatred from the beginning, and that's maybe why Bosnians ideally like him more. But you know, that's politics for you. That's religion for you. People find ways to divide, and when there's division, there's always going to be war. And when there's war, people have to choose sides. Sometimes you choose a side where maybe your friends aren't on that side, and you end up killing your friends and sometimes even your family. There's a lot of Bosnians during the 92 war that decided to even fight against Bosnians. So it's just like, it's a dirty, never-ending war. There's a war on this territory almost every generation. But again, just like the land is all like confusing and so forth, so is the history. Every side has their own story. Every side has their own perspective. The thing is, like, I'm just against war. So no matter what you believe in, no matter what your vision is, killing kids and people overall is never the right way, no matter what side you're on. If you're not harming me, I shouldn't harm you. At the end of the day, there's nothing bigger than the human life. No flag, no religion, no idea is bigger than the human life. And I don't think that's going to end anytime soon, because wars have been going on forever, and it is what it is. So this is goulash. Usually I just like the beef soup without any sides, because I can just get my protein in. But I am going to try to eat this, and I have to go to the store and get some food for the Airbnb. And then I do want to hit the gym. There's always like kids crying around here, which I like, because now having a kid, if everyone's kid is crying, I don't feel bad with my crying.
I'm the one calling the shots. I don't get stuck in the box. Feel like I've been through a lot. Holding it down like it's tied to a rock. Everybody all talk. They ain't walking that walk. Learned it all on my own. Everything's self-taught. Headshot with the stainless. Blow their mind, now they brainless. Dreams of being on stages. Damn, the shit's outrageous. I can see all of the changes. Everything coming in phases. Last year I was nameless. This year I'm finna be famous. I've been doing my own thing. Doing good in my own lane. Started wearing my own name. But it ain't on a gold chain. Saying things that they won't say. Making moves that they can't play. Half of these rappers got no soul. Probably sold it on eBay.
Workout's complete. I always told you guys that they weren't gonna let me work out in my shoes. You always gotta bring an extra pair of shoes. But my thing is, like, who's to say that those shoes that you're bringing in are as dirty or even more dirty than the ones that you're walking in with? The rule is just that you can't wear the same shoes that you walk in with. So I worked out in my socks. That's better than those slippers. The gym is actually super clean, so I liked it. All the machines were working. There wasn't a huge selection of machines, but there was enough for the actual like workout. So this is what I like about Bosnia, the fact that kids are playing around, no one's on their tablets. It's like a mini soccer field. It's part of like a whole sports center, so I'm sure there's a lot of activities here for them, but that's what I like most about Bosnia. People are actually out, being active, socializing. They don't have these American psychological illnesses, such as depression, anxiety. Stuff like that doesn't really exist here in Bosnia. I like to say that we can't afford those illnesses because we're too poor for it. And I think it's true. Rich people can afford those illnesses because they have the money to pay for the psychiatrist and the psychologist and all these extra meds they gotta take. I was editing my vlog and it's like 3 o'clock right now. There isn't really much to do in Jajce on Sundays because everything's kind of closed, but we found this place, Konoba. Konoba means something that's like family owned. It's usually more authentic. Usually they have like, to me, has better food than the like OG restaurants that people usually go to. But it's right next to the river. There's a lot of mini waterfalls. I'll show you guys down there in a second. But we parked on the street here. It is beautiful though. Like, my girl always gets mad at me because whenever I'm driving through Bosnia or like I stop at places like this, I'm just like, what the hell? Like, it just stuns me every single time, and I just cherish it and value it so much because I don't know, I love nature and we don't have that much of it in Florida. Like, we have obviously the like ocean, the Everglades and stuff like that, but I don't know, I like the forests, I like the rivers, I like the waterfalls, I like the changing leaves, I like seasons, and it's just nice when you have all this in your own country and you can actually like see it and use it and approach it, and people aren't strict about like restricting the areas. So you guys know I got the goulash again. It's my favorite because it's just red beef and you know, I need my protein. There's no lack of protein in Bosnia. Little girl is chilling. What you doing? Causing problems? What you doing? Just finished dinner. We're gonna wrap up tonight early since we're heading to Bieloshnica tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know there was a lot of history that I discussed in this video. Like I said, I wanted to kind of share the history that I personally didn't know about. I wish someone was able to teach me earlier so I knew more about Bosnia. But if you guys aren't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. The next video will be us in Bieloshnica just enjoying the nature. And I'll see you guys there. Bye.